Hey, it's Glenn, and welcome to another vlog episode where I just catch you up on my life. So it's a rainy weekend again. Nothing much to do. I've been having a hard time staying awake. It's less than an hour away from Sunday, and I've mostly slept today. I went to Walmart, thought about eating the rich. You know, that's pretty much the extent of my day. I've gotten nothing done. So I remain frustrated just as I was in the last vlog. Same things, I guess getting kind of worse, but I'm I'm doing what I can. I mean, I think I needed rest. Work's been brutal. A new person is starting on Monday, so hopefully that alleviates some of the hellishness of every single day. If there's another person doing things, that means I don't have to do everything, just me and the manager doing everything. So hopefully that works out well. The birds are doing fine. They survived the weekend, and so same routine. I left them some water and some sunflower seeds for this weekend. I'm gonna try to get some better bird seed for them if they're still around next weekend. Because I think 3 weeks. I'm not sure how long they've been there. A week maybe, week or two. Well, not quite 2 weeks because they were building their nest 1 week. But yeah, so that's cool. That makes me happy that the birds at work. In the last episode, I talked about there were some birds that built a nest in the building I work in, and I was trying to make sure they survived when the building was locked up for the weekend. Right, so I mean, I've been doing some reading because like I mentioned in the last vlog, I've been sort of battling the threat of depression, and I don't want to go there, so I'm trying not to get there. But to be 100% completely honest with you, which what's the point of doing this if I'm not? I do not enjoy being alive right now. I just don't. I I wake up, I go to work, I breathe dirt. I don't, I'm breaking my back for nothing pretty much just to barely make a living. And I will tell you this, a job that tells you there is guaranteed overtime is really telling you you've got to work overtime if you want to survive. If you want to make a living wage at all, or anything, even able to stand in the shadow of a living wage. And I have one of the highest paying jobs of any of my friends. So, America, man. I don't know. I'm very frustrated and trying not to get defeated by it because, I'm in a financial hole that I think I'm going to be out of by March 5th. Just kind of looking at the numbers, I think by March 5th I will be able to start recovering from numerous financial catastrophes that tried to eat me. But that's the dragon I'm fighting right now. It's a financial dragon. And yeah, hopefully I can start recovering March 5th. If I get all those first of the month bills paid, then I'm going to be able to figure out a working budget again and actually start building up my bank account again. That's why I'm not depressed, because I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I've been through so much. that I've realized I can't be defeated, so why feel defeated? It's just frustrating. It's a frustration I'm trying to get through, and I'm not enjoying my life right now because it consists of going to work and being too tired to do anything else, and that's it. Like, even the weekends, like, I don't have any energy to put into writing or video editing. Like, I didn't film. I had a video schedule for this week. I did nothing. I did nothing. This is the first video thing I've done all week, and it's less than an hour from next week. So, because I just don't have the energy. Like, I pass out, and then at the end of the day, like, I've been trying to go out and read, and that's been helping a lot, just with my mental health, I guess. Like, I just feel better if I can't accomplish anything else. At least I read a chapter or two in a book, and got outside of my head. That's what it is, I think. It's when you read, when you plug in to somebody else's words, you're getting outside of your head, and when everything in your head is just a monster, just, kind of bitter and terrible, when all you have to think about are struggles, it's good to get outside of your head. So that's been helping me a lot. And so, last night there are some nights when I just can't keep my eyes open. Like, I'll be trying to read a book, and I'll get to a stopping point, and then I will stop. But at least I got something read, because I used to read voraciously. Just, man, this is one of the most physically exhausting jobs I've ever had, my day job. So, and I'm grateful to have it right now because I need money, but I do this job to get paid. It's not because I love the work I'm doing. So that's it. And I get to the weekend, and then, I sleep at least half of Saturday just trying to catch up on rest. And then I get up, and, like, if I want to do anything with writing or publishing or video stuff, it's my whole weekend. Like, it takes me so long to edit a video and to shoot them, but Autodidactica especially, it's so behind. I'm, like, embarrassed because it's on me that it's behind. We've been recording regularly. We're completely caught up. We're not behind on recording at all. It's just that I haven't had the time and energy to edit it, because if I edit an episode of Autodidactica, that's my whole day. Like, we have 4 of them right now sitting there ready to be edited. The shortest one is like 3.5 hours. A lot of it is stuff that's got to be cut. Because we'll talk a lot as we're, like, figuring out what we're going to talk about and how we're going to structure it. We'll have things in the midst of an episode that we wind up cutting, like, Matt has to get up to pee a lot. And so that gets cut, and then, afterwards we have a hard time stopping. Like, if we ever did a Patreon or something for Autodidactica, we'd be set with the extra footage, because that's what we'd put up there, probably, because we'll finish the episode, we'll get to a point where we finish the podcast topic, and we're like, this is a good place to stop, let's stop. And then we'll just keep talking on camera, because we do it over Zoom. And, so the longest one is, I think, a minute shy of 7 hours long. And, like, when this drops, the actual finished edited episode, it's going to be maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours tops, which, I think up to 3 hours is acceptable to ask people for a podcast. You know, like, and there are podcasts, like, people are like, well, Joe Rogan has done 17-hour podcasts. I'm like, well, good for him. Who's his editor and how much do they get paid? Because, you know, like, it's, like, it takes me longer, like, however long the footage is, that's not how long it takes me to edit it. It takes me much longer. It takes me hours longer to edit a podcast episode. Because I'm in there like, okay, we have dead air. Matt and I do that. We both do thoughtful pauses where we try to find our words. And so there are places, you know, in my videos, if you see a jump cut, it's just I cut me doing this. For like just too many seconds. And where it was just ridiculous. And we both do that. So in Autodidactica, there's a lot of spots where I have to cut out just dead air, where we're just sitting there thinking about our next words. And then I have to, like, you know, when there's a bathroom break or something, I have to go back and forth to look at where do I make the cut so it looks seamless or sounds seamless. I'm more concerned with the audio, honestly, on Autodidactica because it's primarily an audio podcast. But it's also got its own YouTube channel. Check it out, link below. But yeah, so just it takes hours, and then sometimes I'm like, well, do I want to keep that? Do we need to cut that? Sometimes I have to call Matt in and say, hey, listen to this. I think this should be cut. What do you think? And so it takes a long time. Like an Autodidactica, it would take the whole day. I'm probably going to sit up tonight and edit at least one because I've got to get one up this week. We're recording another one on Friday. Then I'll have 5, and you know, so I'm gonna get them all up. But what I'm saying is, everything takes a lot of time, and I only have 2 days, and I don't have energy carrying. It's not like I wake up on Saturday all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because I've been beat up for 5 solid days. I'm exhausted. And Saturday, I finally don't have to wake up for something, and so I don't even set an alarm. I just let myself die. But I would rather get up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and have a day. I'd rather be able to do some of this during the week so that I can just chill out and watch Star Wars all weekend sometime. Like, that's what I want to do in my head. I just want to, like, hang out and watch Star Wars. Like, non-stop. And I know once I try to do that, I get bored and have to find something else to do, but it's the idea of just being able to do nothing and not feel like I should be doing something for a couple of days. So I'm strongly considering, you know, when because they did offer me my full-time job back, where I lost my job, came back as a temp on the following Monday, and I've been there ever since, but they offered me my full position back, and it's just a matter of time. Oh, and that's another stress of mine, because as a temp I get paid every single Friday, and every week, this is the first week I didn't go to zero in my bank. I have like $2. I'm a rich man. It's like the Groucho Marx line. When I started, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Now I have 2 nickels to rub together. That's where I'm at. I've got 2 nickels to rub together, so I've improved my financial situation quite a lot. But yeah, whenever it switches over to the actual company paying me, it's every 2 weeks, and I have to go through a full pay period, like, you know, because it's staggered, like, so the first, you know, it depends, like, what I'm saying is there will be 2 or 3 weeks that I'm not going to get a paycheck, and I'm really scared, I'm really scared because I don't know how I'm going to do that, because I don't know when it's going to happen. So and it's probably going to happen before March 5th, but yeah. So anyway, so I thought, anyway, like, I'm getting by. I'm just telling you, this is all that's going on in my life right now. Hopefully, new employee, new temp is gonna alleviate some of the brutality of the job, and maybe I'll have energy to do some video editing and writing during the week, and free up my weekends a little bit, give me some energy. But yeah, so books. I've been reading and getting outside my head. So I'll show you some of the books I've been reading. Like, you can see, you'll be able to, and my ever-growing pile of to-be-read books, which is one of the reasons I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read, because this stack is getting too tall. And but I'm like, this one is weird, man. This book, I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books this year so far, and I'm reading another one. So this is the first book I read, Killing Stalking, Volume 4. Killing Stalking 4. I don't know why I'm so into this series. It's effed up. It's completely jacked up. Like, it's about like, it's a Korean manga. I don't know. There's a name for the manhwa, I think, is what it's. Matt would know. He's off continuing a progressive tattoo project on his upper leg. Or I'd ask him right now. But yeah, so it's a Korean comic. It's a Korean graphic novel series, basically. But it's about, like, this guy who is a stalker, right? He's stalking this guy he fell in love with in the military, who, like, beat up some bullies that were bullying him. And so the heroic dude he fell in love with, doesn't even remember him. It was just another day for him. But, like, so he's been stalking him since he got out of the military, and breaks into his house, right? In Volume 1, like, he breaks into the dude's house, and I guess just wants to, like, have a look around or whatever, and what he finds this girl tied up in the basement and, like, gagged and everything, and, like, she's being held prisoner, and, like, the dude comes home, the dude he's obsessed with, and catches him in the basement, and, like, breaks his legs with a baseball bat. Like, the girl doesn't live long, let's just put it that way, like, because it turns out the stalker is obsessed with a guy who's secretly a serial killer, and then the serial killer holds the stalker prisoner, and, like, they just develop this completely effed up relationship. And I don't know why it's so fascinating to me, just psychologically or something. Like, I'm just fascinated by the character dynamic in Killing Stalking. And then I read The Faraway Paladin, Volume 1. Very good fantasy series. The Volume 1 is called The Boy in the City of the Dead. And it's cool. It's about, this boy who's raised by ghosts, basically. To really oversimplify the plot, like, his adopted mother is a mummy, his adopted father is this, animated skeleton, and they were all warriors, and then there is an actual ghost who he calls his grandfather. They're not actually related at all, but, it's a really cool story about gods and stuff. Like, it's cool, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because I've already rambled. I'm just showing you the books I've been reading. And Matt and I are back to Autodidactica. We are going to do an episode in a couple of, maybe next month, that's just talking about what we're reading. So I'll get in depth on, because we can talk on Autodidactica. And my sister sent me this one for Christmas. What would Skeletor do? Real fast read and really hilarious. Like, need I say more? It's written from the perspective of Skeletor. And I'm trying to find... I don't know. I'm just trying to find a quick line I could read. It's funny. I just finished reading this one my friend Amanda loaned me, called Working with the Dreaming Body. And it's interesting. It's a guy, a psychologist who's had been working with people when he wrote this book, like, on pain management, kind of. Again, I'm oversimplifying it because I'm just trying to breeze through these, but it's kind of like he's equating, like, working with your dreams to working with your physical pain. He's trying to find out what the message is, like, what is there psychologically that your physical pain could possibly be a manifestation of. And if you fix that psychological or do dream work kind of thing, it can make the physical symptoms disappear. It's a really fascinating read. Some of it was weird. If you, like, I don't know what I think about some of it, but a lot of it I thought was really intriguing. And then I read this one. This is one I just finished right after that one. This is an actual manga series called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Life Lessons with Uramichi Onisan. There's Oni-san with 2 I's and there's Oni-san with 2 E's, and one is brother and one is sister. I don't understand how they're pronounced differently or anything because I am just ignorant about that right now. Again, Matt would know. Matt would be able to sit here and tell me for 20 minutes the subtle nuances of Japanese words and manga, but this is hilarious. This series, okay, so it's about this dude who, he's one of the hosts on a children's educational show, and he hates his life. Like, as soon as they finish filming, he just goes away and smokes and waits to die. Like, it's like all these people working on this show just hate their job. They hate their lives. But it sounds dismal, but it's comical. It's supposed to be funny. And it is. It's so relatable. It's so tragically relatable. He'll wake up and be like, oh my god, I woke up again. Now I have to go on with my life. I don't know. It's funny because there's this contrast where they have to be upbeat and happy on this children's show. And then, like, the whole time they're just thinking, please kill me. Why is this my life? Oh, it's so great. And so the book I started reading is one my dad sent me, called Humanly Possible, 700 Years of Humanist Free-Thinking Inquiry and Hope. And that's this one. And I've only read, let's see, because this is one I was nodding off because I was so tired when I started it. I don't know, I can't see. I got to a stopping point. That's how far I am into it. I need my fake eyes in order to actually see what page I'm on. And I don't feel like putting those on right now. So, that's where I'm at right now. I'm reading that one. Hopefully get that one read this week. Because my goal is to read 2 chapters a day in a book, but, it's whatever energy I have. I didn't even finish 1 chapter in this one because I just couldn't stay awake. And it wasn't because the book wasn't interesting. The book is fascinating just right off the bat. It's right up my alley. That's why my dad sent it to me. Because he'd been listening to Autodidactica and the things that we were talking about. So, I thought we would both like this book. And then, you know, to ramble on, why not? Hey, it's not the next day. It's not Sunday yet. I can still do my March 16th vlog. So my book stack, in no particular order. I don't know what order I'm going to read these. Like, I mean, for one, I've got 3 more of those Life Lessons with Uramachi Oni-san books to read. Just, you know, in the stack. I've got, this one was recommended to me by my friend Fernando, The Wisdom of Psychopaths, What Saints, Spies, and Serial Killers Can Teach Us About Success. Why am I reading so much about serial killers? I should probably be worried about myself. I've been reading Sword Art Online. I read several, I think last year or the year before, or both, I don't know. But I've got books 5 and 6 locked and loaded, ready to read. And those are some Japanese novels translated. Of course, I can't read Japanese. Don't let me give you that idea. My friend Amanda loaned me a couple more books. Dreams by Carl Jung. I love Jung. And Drugs of the Dreaming. I don't even know what this one's about, but you know, Amanda loaned it to me, and I'm sure it's going to be fascinating. My friend Andrea gave me this book. I think it was I want to say it was a white elephant gift, so I don't know if it was such an intentional gift. Dave Grohl, the storyteller. You know, I like Dave Grohl, so that should be interesting. I mean, I assume it's a biography. I think Tales of Life and Music, I'm pretty sure it's an autobiography, and that'll be fascinating. I've got It's Not You, Identifying and Healing from Narcissistic People, which this psychologist I like on YouTube wrote this book, and it just came out, so I had pre-ordered it. And then I've got fluff. I've got some fluff like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, Song of the Sea Witch. Yeah, I will read anything. I don't care. Like, I read the little golden books that were He-Man and She-Ra. I love this stuff in all of its forms. So, and that Netflix She-Ra show was actually pretty great, in my opinion. I really loved it. If I had the time, I would watch it again. I've got another She-Ra book that I honestly can't remember if I already read this one. Because it was in my stack, but it's a graphic novel called She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, Legend of the Fire Princess. So since I can't remember if I read it, I will be reading it again, so it stays in my stack. Or I'll be reading it for the first time. And I've got Banana Fish Volume 1, which is another manga series that I'm just curious about. I've heard things that this one might be good. And I started reading it and then kept falling asleep, and it was before I was like, I'm going to read at least a chapter or 2 every night. So it's been recycled back into the stack. I'm going to start over. And that's the kind of stuff I'm up to reading-wise. Shows you a little bit about my head, I guess. And you know, not to mention, I've got like, I don't even know how many Star Wars novels I haven't read. I'm years behind in Star Wars. But I always am like, I'm gonna drink, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to drink on camera, and then I just keep talking. It's weird. So there's all this stuff when I'm editing a video, I watch myself just lift it up to my lips and then not drink and then put it down. Gosh. they're going to use this video in my trial for whatever it is that I go to trial for someday. Um, but anyway, so that's where I'm at. Trying to stay upbeat as much as I can when I'm awake. And I have plans. I have plans for the future, and that's what's keeping me going. Getting through this like really difficult, challenging time of just having no time and no energy and no money. Which, a weaker man would have already given up. But there's no reason to, because I'm invincible, as it turns out. And better days are mere months away from coming to fruition. So that's where I'm at, and I'm gonna keep on keeping on. You do the same, and I'll talk to y'all next time.